So one of my most memorable moments in nursing was a situation where, of course, it began in tragedy for a young person, an 18-year-old female, who was in a terrible car accident with some of her peers. And, you know, the dynamics are important of the story because she was the only survivor. And she was brought into my rehabilitation hospital, and I cared for her. Her parents were just, you know, they were just broken. They were exhausted. And they were at a point where they needed to put out their hands and trust us as healthcare providers, yet this was their child, you know, a young adult. And I realized the impact that we had being able to partner with those parents, truly understanding the importance of family involvement, patient-centered and family-centered care. What that did for them, giving those parents an opportunity to breathe and gain trust in us so they could really be there for their daughter as the parents. You know, and working with her and watching her, the patient, meet her milestones and involving her parents so they could feel they were a part of that and give them some control back, and watching them just lovingly surround her with that, and then allowing us then, because they trusted the healthcare team, they trusted us to do our job, and therefore, you know, I believe her recovery was much more smooth, and they were informed, you know, and that's just, when I stepped back and I looked at that experience, I thought, this is how we do it well. You've got to keep people and their families and their loved ones involved in the care, because it is just as important as the medical treatments we're doing for them to help them recover. You know, when she left, she was just taking her first steps, still had a lot of neurological issues. The first time she came back to our hospital, she was in a gait belt with Dad, and, you know, her movement was very just, you know, fractured, and she just wasn't fully recovered, really didn't have her speech, couldn't drive, still had some issues with feeding herself. They came back again, she walked on her own, her speech was much better, and the third and final time that I saw her, which was about 18 months later, she was going back to college, and she wanted to be a nurse.